Hello guys, in this video we will be talking about using Entity Framework Core for building the data access layer for the application. I will be demoing this with the simple console application targeted to .NET 7, and we will also see how we are going to add the packages, necessary packages for making the use of Entity Framework Core, and also we will see how we are going to create entity classes and the corresponding data access class, with the help of which we will be able to handle the data transactions. Okay, so let me do it. I'm saying file, new project here, and I'm going to make a use of the console application, and over here I'm going to save this, right? Maybe over here I'm going to create a folder. Okay, right? So maybe the new folder that I'm going to create. So let's say that, uh, well, I'm going to do it over here on the C drive itself. I'll say that now CS EF core, right? Code first, right? And that's it. Now why I've given the name code first. So basically, we are going to code first for creating entities and managing the data access. And then what we will be doing is that we will be generating the database and the corresponding tables with that. That's what that we will be doing here. So I'm going to say next here. And of course, I'm targeting to .NET 7 create. And this is going to create my project. Now, the important thing over here is that we need very important packages for the data access layer building using entity framework core. So we can do this with two ways. Either we can directly right click add and then manage NuGet packages, or otherwise you can basically do this fast with the help of the .NET CLI. So I'm gonna open my PowerShell command prompt over here as an administrator, and then I'll say right here cd cs, and then this is code first. So I'm gonna say again cs right here, right, code first. So I'm on the path of the bin. Okay, from this I'm gonna run my command for adding packages. So I'll say here .NET add package. I'll say that Microsoft dot entity framework core or here, and we can even give the version here, whatever the version. Otherwise, whatever the latest version is there, which is released, that will be installed. So if you are focusing to a specific version, then you should do this. So I'm going to say here that 7.0.0, let's say, and let this be installed. So that version is there, and then we will have that package installed. So now if you take you back to the dependencies and packages, we do have Microsoft.entity framework core that is installed. Then let me add another package, that is SQL Server, right? Because we are going to connect to the SQL Server here, right? After having the SQL Server package installed, right? What I'm going to do is that I'm going to add the new one, that is Relational, okay? And then I'll have tools, right? So Microsoft.entity framework core.tools, and also I'm going to install Microsoft.entity framework core.design, right? These are the various packages, right, that I'm going to add here. Let me make this clear, and then we have this packages installed. Okay, so Microsoft.entity framework core, Microsoft.entity framework core.design, Microsoft.entity framework core.relational, Microsoft.entity framework core.sql server, and Microsoft.entity framework core.tools. Okay, we have this. Now, we are going to make a use of the code first approach. This means that we are going to have our entity classes, and then we will be generating the migrations for those entity classes, and then we will generate a database from that. So three steps. Step number one is creating entity classes. Step number two is to generate the migrations, and step number three is updating the database so that the database and tables will be generated based upon migration. These are the three steps that we are going to follow here. So for that purpose, what I'm going to do is that in this project, I'm going to add a new folder and I'm going to make this as models. And over here, I'm going to add a class called as department. Okay, DEPARTMENT. I'm adding that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add the properties in it, the public properties, auto generated properties over here, sorry, auto implemented properties. So I'll say that public int dptno, right? I'll say get set here. Similarly, I'm going to have the string label types, dpt name, right? And then I'm going to have over here a string location. Okay, so we are adding these three properties over there. Similarly, then what I want to do is that I want to make this department number as a primary key here. Okay, I want to do that. So what we can do is that we can use the attribute on that called as key, and this is been coming from system.componentModel.data annotations. So this key is gonna make the dptno as identity key, primary identity key. That's how it is. Okay, we are gonna have it like this. We can even create the separate foreign key. We can, primary key, which is not identity key. We can do that. We'll do it afterwards. Now we have one department class. We will also add another class over here called as employee. And here I'm gonna have that again. I'll say now prop empno, right? I'll say prop string emp name, right? And over here I'm gonna make it as nullable. I'll have here prop, right here string, right, designation, and here I'll also say prop int salary. I'm doing that, and then this empno, I'm again going to make this as a key. This is going to be a primary identity key. So we have two entities which are added into this model folders, two entity classes, the department with the three properties, as well as the employee with the four properties. Now, what we want to do is that we also want to go for the relationship across the entities. So one department has multiple employees and one employee has one department. So over here, what I'm going to do is I'll go to the department class over here and then I'll say that prop uh, I collection of employee. I'll say employees, right? Again, I'm going to make it as nullable. Similarly, in an employee, I'm going to have here, first of all, prop dptno. This is going to be used for a foreign key here, right? And then we'll also have the referential integrity, the reference. So I'll say prop department. That's it. And again, I'm going to make this as nullable. So this is where that we have the entities created. Now, it is the most important step that we have to follow while developing the conceptual model. So, this is actually a conceptual model for our application where whenever we are going to build any software, right, where we do not have any decision made on a database. So, we are going to start with a conceptual model design. So, what we are going to do is we are going to create entities, right? So, here we do have the department as an entity with the properties, employee as entities with properties, and then the relationship. So we want one department to have multiple employees. That's why we have established the relationship, and then we do have the one employee contains the reference for the department. So this is what is it, right? So the entities are created by us. Now, once it is done, the next step over here is that we are supposed to establish the data access mapping over there. And for that, what we need to do is that we need to create the DB context class. What is DB context? So DB context is the class which is provided by Entity Framework Core for managing the database connection as well as handling the table mapping. So mapping of the entities with the table, that is the responsibility of DB context class. So